All right, Prix Goblins, welcome to the Spring 2023 virtual team meeting. Doing this like we did last fall, putting out some information early on. My volume's a little loud. To try to get you up to speed so we can do a shorter drivers meeting and get into the events quicker on Friday. The dates for the Goblins this year, March 24th. It's a Friday. We kept that schedule. By doing that, it does impinge a little bit on the amount of space we can use, and I'll talk through that. But if you hadn't heard, we're actually going to be racing out at Volkswagen on the western side of the Volkswagen plant. So let's step through it like we did last fall, starting with the website. I'm going to give another pitch for the website. So all of this information that I'm putting out now, plus some more that'll still be developed once we get the final rosters of the teams, will be posted on the Green Spaces website. So you can see the address, just Google Green Spaces. Under Programs, Chattanooga Green Prix, and some new pictures. There's the dates. You guys are concerned with the 24th. And then the biggest tab for you guys is going to be Advisor Resources. Right? And if you scroll down far enough, we have a video that was put together for the Gig City Girls Brown Elementary from the race. And we have some other videos I'll show you as well. So if you go to Advisor Resources, scroll down, and as we finalize the different elements, you'll see that the link turns green. So the schedule, course map, and some other things that have been on there for a while, some rules, and you can see when they were updated. The one thing that still needs to be posted, and we're working on those right now, is the supplemental rules, not very involved, and a updated tech inspection checklist, which would be good to go through preparing for the race so that you get to the tech line and you breeze through it because your car is 100% ready to go, right? So this is a really useful spot, I think sometimes underutilized. Let's see. Let's go to the slides. I'm going to keep this in not slideshow mode so I can jump around a little bit. Nah, I lied. Let's change it. Okay, so that's me, Mike Prix, race director, my cool car. All right, so first thing, how to get there. The site itself, if you look on Google Maps, the area is so new it doesn't even show up because it still looks like grass. But Volkswagen has added another parking area here in advance of another the electric vehicle line they're opening up. So to get to the event site on Friday, if you're familiar with Bonnie Oaks, this is the Readout Soccer Fields complex. You come in and turn on Volkswagen Drive. You can come in on Discovery Drive as well. But if you come in on Volkswagen Drive 3/4 of the way around the roundabout, exit this way, and your first right, and it doesn't really have a label. It's more of honestly, a construction access road right now. Follow that road in, and you'll see some signs that point you to the site. All right, and we're going to have some of these roads blocked off to prevent accidental entry of other cars. Now, again, on Friday, because that is a work day for Volkswagen, we only get a certain portion of the parking area. So, but it should be more than enough for our Goblins event. So here's the same sort of picture. This would be the access road you came in. You're going to turn in here, and here's how we've set it up. We're going to have pits toward the road itself. We're going to have trailer parking, support vehicle parking in the first section of the parking area, and this is going to be a gravel parking lot at that point, and then spectator parking all the way out here. All right. And depending on space, I can't promise this yet, but what we'll try to do is much like we did in the fall and have at least one or allow one support vehicle to park in the pits, the vehicle with all the spare parts, batteries, things like that, to park in the pits themselves. Can't promise that, but we're going to try to do that, okay? And then this kind of orangish area is where we're going to have the drag slalom and circuit races. We're going to set up as long and as big as possible a spectator area where they can see the bulk of the drag and slalom and the circuit races. And then again, that orangish area is where the courses will be set up. Right? So that gives you an overall idea. The drag and slalom. For those that are familiar with last fall, we're going to run it almost exactly the same, right? A drag race and then a slalom race, and I'll talk more about that here in just a second. Let me show you something else, jumping around a bit. So you get in, you get situated, you get your car, you get through tech, you do your presentation. Here's a copy of the schedule, and this is what's on the website right now. Now, I don't have the groups yet. Those will be filled in here once we get the final registration count, but we're still early in that process. So those will get filled in, and you'll get that as part of your information packet. But Group A, Group B, these aren't hard and fast times, but just trying to spread out the registration just a little bit, having Group A start a little bit early. And you can see once you're situated, tech inspection and presentations, again, kind of an as ready. So if you have to fix something, don't worry about it. We'll get around and re-tech your car if that needs to happen. Workers meeting, you don't care, but there will be a driver's meeting. And again, it's going to be shorter because most of this information is in this video for you. Okay, so the driver's meeting will go through some specifics. That'll be in the pit area like we've done before with the speaker system so everybody can hear. Now, once that's done, we'll have a few minutes to kind of get everybody situated, but that's when we're going to roll into the drag and slalom races. And again, in the fall, we had a kind of a perfect number of teams where every team could drag and slalom against every other team. Now, it depends. If we get that number again, we'll do the same thing. But if we end up with a bunch more Goblin cars, it may be that just because of time, you don't drag race every other single team out there. We'll just make a round-robin format. That round-robin, I'm kind of loath to put this up here. This is from last fall, okay? But it'll look very similar. So don't put any credence into the teams and the lineup, but we'll have all these rounds of drag races. And we're going to shoot for about 11 rounds again. So depending on how many cars we get, that'll be if you race against everyone or not, okay? That will be in your info pack as well. So we're going to start those. The flow of races probably works better with the picture, but this is a verbal description. The one note, and I'll hit it again, when you do the drag race, you turn around and set up for the slalom coming back the other direction. You don't change drivers at that point. One driver will do the drag and the slalom, and then you do a driver change. But with 10, 11 heats, you have the ability to have multiple drivers, probably the whole team, and maybe several times for some of the team members to do these. Okay? Those will be done. We'll take a lunch break. During that lunch break, we're going to allow the same as the past two races and have a 1-hour battery recharge time. Honor system, we're not going to time it for you, but just to freshen up your batteries a little bit. And experience-wise in the fall, doing the drag races, recharge, and then the 3 short circuit races, we had no issues with batteries pooping out at the end of the race. So lunch break, and then we're going to roll into the circuit races. Those are the short oval races, 3 7-lap races, and I'll talk points a little bit more with the slides, and they'll be broken up into groups. So really the group A and B, the only thing that really dictates is registration time. Again, that's kind of soft. It's not in concrete. But the groups that are going to be racing. So Group A will go out and do their short heat race, and while they're doing that, Group B should be getting ready, get to pre-grid, and then as soon as the A group comes into the pit lane, Group B will be back out on course, and Group A can affect a driver change for their second race. So pit stops really don't happen. It's more of a driver change after your short circuit race, and then you'll be ready to go. So it's not so chaotic, perhaps. You got more time to change drivers at a little bit more leisurely pace. Group B goes out, does their circuit race. While that's happening, Group A is changing drivers and getting ready for their second race, and it'll just flow like that. Okay, and you can read through all the details on the flow, etc. And then we'll do trophies. We have also, because we put this in the fall, we're going to have the overall school year 2023 champion. Okay, so some trophies for teams that competed both spring and fall, depending on how they racked out, right? So that'll be kind of cool. So let's go back to the map. Again, that the schedule is a verbal description of. You can see the pits. One thing to note, and I think it's in here somewhere else, is the pit lane itself slopes downhill toward the road a little bit. So the pits, we're going to try to run them this way, crossways of the hill, so your car's not rolling away from you. However, I recommend you bring some sort of chalk, a 2x4, something just to put behind the wheel of the car so it doesn't wander away. The parking brakes are limited in their effect. So the overall pits here, and again, I'm talking like everybody's done it. I know you haven't, but in the fall we had a staging and driver change area up toward the start line. And we're going to kind of set that up again for the spring, so that you guys will have kind of a mini pit stall, if you will, a team area in this. So the overall flow, the first pair of cars for the first drag race will get out here, get lined up. We put the front wheels of the car on this green line. It may not be a green line, but we had some cones last fall. You line up with those, and then once the green flag, the starter will check everybody's ready, and then green flag, that means go. And what you want to have for the drag race and the slalom race is a pusher, because we know the Goblins don't like to start from a dead start or a standing start. And so when you get the green flag, the pusher is going to give 1, 2, 3 steps, depending how big this area is, and then let go. Here's my suggestion for the drivers. 1, 2, button. Get the car rolling a little bit and then hit your throttle button to get going. And it's a simple drag race. The cars will drag race to the finish line. We'll have judges there to score the winner, and the winner will get 2 points. Right now is how we're planning on doing it. And then what you do is we're going to have signs to slow down and then bring the car really to a stop. You're going to have another single pusher for your team over at the beginning of the slalom. That person can come over, pick up the car, push it to the start line, same as the drag race, and then we'll make sure you guys are ready. Green flag, 1, 2, 3 steps, and go for the slalom. Now, what we did in the spring, and it seemed to work out pretty well, is instead of just a single cone, we set up really what are called gates. It's a pair of cones that you're going to navigate yourself through. What also seemed to help is we put a chalk line through the gates to help you follow the flow of the course. And we're planning on doing the same thing again. So that it's a drag race with curves in it. So you get to the end, the finish line, the judges will mark who the winner was, and then you get off the gas and coast. And again, right about here, you start a little bit of a downhill. So you can probably coast 90% of the way slowly to your little mini pit area for your driver change. And there'll be 7, 8, 9 other, or 5, 6, 7 other heats going on. So it's not you have to immediately change, but get your car back to the staging area and get that next driver strapped in, ready to go. Right. In the fall, we had a couple little mechanical issues, and the folks in the staging area did a great job of re-racking. So what happened was, say the second heat, the second race, there was a car with a mechanical issue. So we just flowed the later cars up forward, and then once they got fixed, we got the pair that was supposed to go out and to do their drag race, right? So that's why you want to be ready. Don't muck about in the staging area. Get your next driver ready, and then when we call you up, it'll be the same flow. Drag race, same driver. Slalom race, driver change, right? And that'll go throughout the morning until we get to lunchtime. Let's see. I have a few notes. I think I've covered all this. Green flag signal starts. One student push to the red line, let him go, and then slow down. We had some cars blistering around the corner to the next start line in the fall. Once you finish the race, slow down, let your pusher pick you up. The other thing that does is it saves battery power, which we all know is important. Okay, then we'll regrid you, run the slalom, same driver. Once the slalom takes off and they're racing down the track, the pusher from this end, your slalom pusher, can make their way back to the staging area. Okay, they don't have to stay there the whole time. And as far as who drives and who pushes, that's totally up to the team. You can alternate all of the above. All right, my head's in the way. How does that always happen? What else? Okay, I've got some better pictures this time. When we do the slalom is delineated by these cones. If you knock a cone over or if you knock it out of the box, you are disqualified for that race only, not for the entire session. So here's a picture. what we do is you're going to see those two cones to show you the gate. That's where you're going between. Your car will go between the two. And we put a box with chalk around each of the cones so we know where they're supposed to be, so the course stays the same the whole time. One of the nice things with the Volkswagen lot is it's pretty level as compared to the Southern Belle, right? But we will alternate lanes 1 and 2 for the different races to equalize it out. So if you go through these and they look like that, you're all good. But if you go through and hit one, there's 2 possible penalties. If by some miracle you hit the cone and completely knock it out of the box, even though it's still standing, that's a penalty, disqualified. If you knock it over, no matter where it ends up, but even if it's still in the box, it doesn't matter, that's a penalty. So really give yourself, a little bit of room as you navigate through these gates so that you don't knock over a cone. Right? On to the circuit race after lunch. This is the one, it's not the greatest, but that hill that really starts to slope this way toward the road is here. So that's why we put the pits. We're sitting still. And then for the circuit race, this isn't the greatest picture, but it'll be a short oval track like we had in the fall. And we'll do the 3, right now it's 3 7-lap circuit races. Now, not to confuse anybody, but in the fall we tried a total time for all 3 races for the results of the circuit races. And we were lucky because, thinking about it, if you had a yellow flag during one of those races, that's going to make your overall time really slow. And not that you did anything wrong, but maybe something happened on the course. So this time we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to line up however many cars are in a group, 6, 7, 8. You guys, Group A, will get the green flag and go. The first circuit race will be done just in random order as far as starting. Once the leader gets to the start-finish line, which will be over here somewhere, he'll get the checkered flag. She'll get the checkered flag. And then every other car behind him will get the checkered flag. So I don't care if you're 2 laps behind. You had a slight mechanical issue. Once you get the checkered flag, race is over. You slow down and you come back into the pits and start your driver change for your second circuit race. Because while you're doing that, Group B will be getting ready to do their first. All right? For the second and third race, right now my plan is to grid you guys in reverse finishing order. So if you finish first, you're going to start last. Now, you probably had the fastest car, the better driver, something like that, but we want to mix up and give everybody a chance, not to penalize folks, but just to make it more equitable on the 3 circuit races. Those points will go into the total. Whoever, you're winning, or the winning car gets so many points, and then it drops down by 5 points from there, and that'll all go into the overall score. So 2 points for a drag, 2 points for a slalom, some number, depending on how many entries, that puts you up to 50 points for the overall winner of the circuit races, and then, of course, your presentation gets added on. So about 2/3 racing points, 1/3 presentation points. And that'll get our overall winners like we've done in the past, right? And depending on entries, again, in the fall, if you were there, we ended up, we gave out top 5 because we had so many Goblins. It was great to see that many cars, right? So pit exit, i.e. getting on the track, and then as you finish that last lap, there'll be a nice long pit entry lane to slow down, don't run into Bryce, and then get situated, back to your pit area for your next race, right? Let's go back to, do we want to go back to the schedule? I guess we can. If all goes well, those will be the times for the different groups. And again, this can fluctuate a little bit, but we're shooting to finish up and give trophies by about 3:45. 1, so it's not an all-day affair, but 2, we've got to do a massive change to the course for the F-24s on Saturday. Okay, we're not doing a test day, not that it matters to you guys, but on Friday we only had that 1 slice of the parking lot. On Saturday we get a whole bunch more because the plant won't be operational. So the F-24s, and a year or 2 from now when you're in F-24s and we're still there, it's a 4/10 of a mile, very twisty kind of classic road course, not your just oval track for the F-24s. All right, let's see. let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Dragon Slalom, lunch and recharge your batteries. Again, on the batteries, no swaps. So you want to get your two. If you end up with 4 somehow, the kits came with 2 batteries per Goblin kit. But if you've got 4, I would charge them all up and then see which of the batteries are your best 2 and use those for the entire day Friday. And we will have in tech a battery health checker that we can plug in and look at your battery health for you if you don't have one. Verse order, yes. So for the drag and slaloms, there'll be the student pusher, singular, 1 for the drag, 1 for the slalom. So in effect, 2 needed per heat. For the circuit races, we're going to again ask the advisors to be the pushers to start, just because you're going to have 5, 6, 7 cars coming at the beginning so that they can clear out of the way. And then just like we did in the fall, we're going to have the advisors stay right around the start-finish area, not blocking race control. And you can again count your driver down. It's not as critical this time because we'll be doing that as well. And when the lead car finishes its 7th lap, checkered flag. Okay, but you can still count them down. So they push, they start. As they come around, they're going to have 6 laps to go, and you can count them down for those that were in the fall, so that they at least have an idea as to how many laps they have left. Keeps them kind of in the game, right? But again, checkered flag, back to the pits. I don't care how many laps you did. All right. Let's see. I think that's it. Trying to make this a little shorter. How'd I do? Still 20 minutes. Okay. Again, you will get an information packet with the schedule, with your group, so you know what times you are set to race, with a grid sheet for the drag and slalom races. So each heat, you'll know, am I going 1st, 7th, 10th, whatever it is, and that'll help keep you engaged with what's going on. And I think that's it. So pay attention to the website as things come up and we get closer to race time. We'll have some additional information for you. And if you ever have a question, don't hesitate to reach out to Madison at Green Spaces, and she can get a hold of whoever needs to answer your question. All right. Good luck. See you in March.